After a long and tiring day of hanging out around Eldervale Castle, Orik Brighthand was ready for bed. His mom and dad tucked him in snug, gave him a kiss on the forehead, and wished him sweet dreams. Once they left his room, Orik fell fast asleep. Orik soon found himself flying high above his dream clouds, all of which looked equally exciting. However, he landed on one dream cloud that looked to be especially thrilling. Orik dove into the fluffy dream cloud, and as he did, his clothing changed from pajamas to a superhero cape. Orik felt himself growing stronger by the second, and before he knew it, he was Orik the Invincible. Orik the Invincible flew around the dreamland, rescuing kittens trapped in trees, helping the elderly cross the street, and stopping children from getting hurt on the playground. He was having so much fun when, all of a sudden, a dark shadow covered dreamland. Orik looked up to see something evil approaching. A monster made of gloppy purple and black goo called in a wicked, snarling voice.
Orik the Invincible, I don't like all these good deeds you're doing. If you won't stop helping people, I'm going to have to stop you.
Orik was frozen in fear as he watched the goo monster grow to be about 10 times its original height. He wanted to fight the villain, but he knew that he didn't stand a chance against a monster so large. Orik tried to use his power of flight to get away from the minion, but he found that he couldn't move at all.
"Please don't hurt me,"
Orik cried. His heart was pounding and sweat rolled down his forehead in little droplets. The goo monster stretched out his giant sticky hand, but before it reached Orik, he woke up.
"Go away!"
Orik shouted upon waking, convinced that the goo monster had followed him out of the dream. He looked around his dark bedroom and was filled with terror as he remembered his nightmare. He jumped out of bed and ran to find his parents.
"Mom! Dad!"
Orik called as tears began forming in his eyes. He found them downstairs reading in Dad's study.
"What is it, Orik? What's wrong?"
Mom asked.
"The goo monster! It's coming for me!"
Orik explained through his tears. Dad wrapped Orik in a warm embrace.
You had a bad dream, son. Don't worry. It's not real.
Dad said in a soothing voice. Orik liked the feeling of Dad's bear hug and instantly felt safe in his arms. Mom, Dad, and Orik all went back to Orik's room. Once Orik was in bed again, Mom put an extra fuzzy blanket on him.
"Think of this blanket like a hug. It will keep you safe and warm."
"But what if the monster comes back?"
Orik asked nervously.
If he comes back, you must remember to be strong and courageous. Though dreams seem real while they are happening, and they can be scary sometimes, you must not let them affect you once you wake up.
Dad explained.
"What would Orik the Invincible do about the goo monster?"
Mom asked, motioning to the special dress-up cape with Orik the Invincible sewn into the fabric that hung on a hook by the door. Orik knew that his parents were right, and that he shouldn't be scared of his dreams. He decided that he would be brave and not let his nightmare scare him. After all, it was only pretend.
"Orik the Invincible would fight off the monster,"
he replied.
That's our brave boy.
Dad said before giving Orik one final kiss on the head.
And if you do get scared again, just remember, we're only a few steps away.
Mom and Dad left Orik's room. Orik was still slightly unsure about whether or not he was ready to fall asleep again and risk encountering the goo monster. But after several minutes, Orik was fast asleep once more. Orik found himself flying high above his dream clouds once again. He looked closely at each one and soon spotted a particular dream cloud. At first, he wanted to stay as far away from it as he possibly could. But after giving it a little thought, Orik had a different idea. Upon entering his dreamland, Orik's cape was draped across his shoulders. In the distance, he could see the goo monster wearing an evil grin.
"Hey, you!"
He called out to the minion, who appeared to be shocked to see Orik the Invincible returning.
"Let's settle this once and for all."
As he spoke, Orik grew to be 50 times bigger than his normal size. Next to the now giant Orik, the goo monster didn't look much bigger than a chewed-up piece of purple and black gum. All it took was the stomp of his foot for Orik the Invincible to squash the pesky goo monster. With the not-so-scary monster gone, Orik was free to enjoy the rest of his dream, helping as many people and pets as he could, and zipping all over his dreamland with the help of his trusty cape.
"Orik, it's time to wake up."
Orik heard a faint voice calling. The dreamland around him quickly dissolved, and he soon found himself in his bed. Mom stood at his side, gently shaking him awake.
"Did you have sweet dreams?"
She asked, once she was sure he was awake.
"I had the best dreams. I defeated the goo monster."
Orik jumped out of bed and ran over to his cape. Mom helped Orik tie the cape around his shoulders.
That's my brave boy.
She said. Orik thanked Mom and zoomed off to tell Dad about his dream, his cape flying behind him.
Thank you for watching this video, and be sure to like and subscribe to the Matheus Academy channel for new videos and content. Parents, if you'd like to talk with your child about some of the lessons learned in this story, check out the link in the description below. Our parenting videos provide some lessons and tips that we've put together, so go ahead and check them out. Come and see what makes Matheus Academy and the world of Meridian a great place to spend with your child.